Yo, what is going on, guys? Flashverse here, and welcome back to another video on The Flash Season 7. And yesterday we had some new promo images that dropped for The Flash Season 7 Episode 3, titled Mother, which is obviously the finale for the Mirror Master storyline and the end of graphic novel number 2, basically wrapping up the whole Season 6 back half storyline. And this will be my breakdown for these promo images. So last week's episode was the second to last episode of graphic novel number 2, and it was one of the best episodes we have seen out of the whole show in my opinion. Some would even argue that it was the best episode of the whole show. I really enjoyed this episode. I don't consider it being like the best of the whole show. I still think Enter Flash Time was the best of the whole show, but this one could potentially compete in my top 10 because we just had some mind-blowing things taking place during this episode which you just wouldn't expect, such as Speedster Frost, for example. That literally got me shaking. But yeah, Speedster Frost was definitely one of the highlights of the episode. I really loved that. But then, like an icing on the cake to that, we got the WTF ending scene with the return of the original Harrison Wells, in which from these promo images we will be seeing more of this character during this episode, which I'm very excited to see what we have for him, because I will get into more like a breakdown later on in this video in regards to this original Harrison Wells character. But obviously some main plot points to go over was that Iris is out of the Mirrorverse. However, she is facing side effects of her being pulled into the real world due to her adapting to the Mirrorverse for so long. So she's not used to being back to the real world. However, she is facing side effects of her being pulled into the real world once again. And we basically had Barry destroying the artificial speed force due to the artificial speed force messing with him. So he was essentially like a robot with the whole speed thinking, and that was taking away his emotions. So that literally resulted him into screwing up big time. So going into episode 3, he's back to using the original dead speed force. And we should expect Barry to get his speed back in some way, whether it's reviving the original speed force or just bringing his speed back in some way. I'm not entirely sure. But we should also be seeing Eva's endgame unfold during this episode, whether it's to turn the real world into the Mirrorverse or do something else, whatever it is. But as I said, this is the finale for the Mirror Master storyline. This would have been the original Season 6 finale. So do expect some crazy things going into this episode. But before I go over anything, however, you guys don't forget to drop a like on the video and subscribe to the channel so you are aware of more Arrowverse content coming your way. Okay, so there are no particular orders of these promo images, so I'll just be going over these photos in the order that they are on my screen right now. So the first shot, we have Joe and Cecile, and they are in a very dark area in which you would expect to be CCPD, because that is where Joe normally is, and he seemed to be in CCPD in the trailers. And we do know that the city will be in some sort of lockdown or something, so I doubt this is anywhere else but CCPD. Now the reason to why this room is dark is obviously because during the trailer we found out that they will be blacking out any reflective surface, because we know that Eva can travel through any reflective surface. However, if it's blacked out, it no longer becomes reflective, and therefore this would prevent Eva from trying to pull in the real people into the Mirrorverse and creating mirror clones out of them. But we do then get the shot of Cisco and Caitlin. Now one thing I'm very interested to see is how these two react to what Barry has done during the events of last episode. That would be fairly interesting to see, because since Iris is out, they will have to find some way to rescue Camilla and Sing. With Robot Barry calling them expendable, it would be very interesting to see how Caitlin and Cisco react to what Barry has done once they have recovered and once they find out that Iris has been pulled out of the Mirrorverse, because Barry has knocked them all out last episode, so they shouldn't be too happy about that, although it was the artificial speed force messing with him in the first place. Now over here, by the way, like, you know, Cisco's doing his facial expressions, it seems like the team are planning something in order to stop Eva from pursuing her grand plan. But this is actually our first time seeing the actual Caitlin Snow back, because last episode she was obviously Frost, she wasn't Caitlin. And although they're in the same body, you could technically count them as the same person. But this is our our first look of Caitlin in The Flash season 7. But it will be fairly interesting to see what type of role Caitlin herself plays in this episode. We know we'll be having Frost with all the action stuff, but what exactly will Caitlin play? That's what I'm very interested to see. Now, the most interesting shot is definitely this one over here. And we do see that it is the original Harrison Wells inside of Star Labs talking to Barry. Now, I have mentioned this in my previous videos, but it will be interesting to see how he will react to all of this, because he was murdered in the year of 2000 and suddenly he's back in 2020. Yes, it's 2020, not 2021, because these 3 episodes are technically still part of The Flash season 6. So we are not in 2021 yet in the Arrowverse timeline of The Flash. We are still in 2020. So the original Harrison Wells going into this episode has nearly 20 years of his life gone. So we should see how he reacts to this, like the whole Tess Morgan situation and of her being dead obviously, and also the dream of him coming up with Star Labs is right in front of him, with like a bunch of strangers in his building, which he came up with the idea. So it will be very interesting to see how he reacts to all of that, and especially with the metahumans as well, like how are there superpowered people in this universe. Like that's what he would be wondering as well, because he was dead. So in the year of 2000 there were obviously no metahumans around. And also I can't wait to see him get some sort of a catch up in regards to what is happening and how this version of Wells could fit into Team Flash, because he can no longer continue his life as it is, because Harrison Wells is now a wanted criminal, because Thawne as Wellsabard confessed to the murder of Nora Allen. So technically it was Harrison Wells who killed Nora Allen. So the original Harrison Wells cannot just walk around normally. He is now a wanted criminal. So it will be very interesting to see how he packs these punches and how he reacts to all of this. Now, since this is after all the original timeline Harrison Wells, it will be very interesting to see these original timeline Easter eggs and teases which the original Harrison Wells could mention, with like the whole Star Labs idea coming into play, and maybe some memories that he has with Tess Morgan. It could also be something as simple as him mentioning that they planned a particle accelerator, and once Star Labs was built, they had an idea to launch it in the year of 2020, because that was the year when the particle accelerator exploded in the original timeline. Something along those lines. It will be very cool to see those Easter eggs, in which we could then find out that Wellsabard has already done the particle accelerator and he blew it up. And it will be cool to see that version of Harrison Wells' reaction to all of that. And the more I think of it, the more I, just get more excited with this original Harrison Wells character and his storyline, because I just want to see him react to all of this so badly. I just want to know his reaction to, what Wellsabard took away from him. But obviously we should be seeing the OG Harrison Wells help stop what's happening in regards to the Mirror Master chaos in Central City in some way, but also help Barry get his speed back. And as I said in yesterday's video, if the OG Harrison Wells helps Barry get his speed back, this would be in 2020, and the original timeline Flash was also created in 2020. So these slight Easter eggs and teases should be very interesting as well. Now in this shot over here, we have Team Flash in the lounge, and we have Chester, Caitlin, Allegra, and Cisco over here. So two things could be going on over here. It's either Barry coming up with a plan to stop what's happening and the team are listening up to it, or it could be that Barry is introducing them to the new Wells or something. It's hard to tell, but again, the only thing that contradicts the whole Wells theory is that Allegra isn't reacting emotionally to that, in which if she saw a face of a Harrison Wells, she would be reacting emotionally to that because of her connection with Nash. But the others look confused. Like we do see Chester, Caitlin, and Cisco looking confused, so I really don't know what's going on over here. But once again, Star Labs is all blacked out because they want to prevent Mirror Master from traveling across these reflective surfaces. Now we then have the shot of Barry and Iris, and they have finally properly reunited. Now this is probably a shot in regards to them celebrating that they have finally stopped what's happening, and Team Flash have stopped the Mirror Master and saved the city once again. This is Iris out of her coma, and she has new clothes on as well, so she's pretty much freshened up. Now there are also purple lights in the background. No idea what's that about. Maybe it's just to make the scene look cool, I don't know. But I'm pretty sure this is after the final battle against Mirror Master. So in some way, Barry should have his speed back at this point. I'm pretty sure of that. But lastly, we get the shot of Iris in her coma, and Barry is sitting by her side. Now, I have mentioned previously in my trailer breakdown that Iris could potentially be the key in stopping what's happening, because she does have the advantage over Eva, in which Robot Barry obviously mentioned last episode. Like, he did say that Iris has this tactical advantage because she knows more about the Mirrorverse and she knows more about Eva than anyone else. And because Iris has fully adapted to the Mirrorverse, they could use this as an advantage to beat Eva. Who knows? But it will be very interesting to see what gets Iris awakened, because over here she's still in her coma. Yeah, I'm just very interested to see how she's able to wake up from this. And also I'm interested to see how everyone else will get out of the Mirrorverse as well, because we still have Singh, Camilla, and then the other people who have been sucked in during the finale as well. I'm very interested to see how all of this will play out and unfold going into graphic novel number 3, which is the official season 7, if you want to say. But yeah guys, thanks for watching. If you guys have enjoyed the video, please give a like and subscribe. Tell me in the comment section down below what you guys think about all of this, and are you guys excited for episode 3, wrapping up this Mirror Master storyline and finally going into the actual plan for the Flash season 7. And yeah, I will see you guys in my next video.